What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Starfield, because the game reviews of perhaps one of the biggest Xbox games ever have finally dropped, and they're lower than some fans predicted. Unfortunately, I was exactly right. Let's talk about the 7 out of 10s it's getting, the 10 out of 10s. Let's discuss the crazy mess the internet is currently digging through with these top digit numbers. Are you ready? Here we go. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. But now, let's go to deep space with Starfield. Now, we have an interesting breakdown here. It's got an 86 on OpenCritic right now. Typically, when it comes to aggregates, the score goes up and down over the course of the first week as essentially more reviewers finish the game. But as it currently stands at embargo time, it's an 86 on OpenCritic. I predicted it would get an 85. People got mad at me. People were like legitimately calling me a hater, saying that I want the game to fail. Clearly, that's not the case. I just have eyes, and I could see the fact that the game is it's a 7 out of 10, right? I mean, it kind of looked like a 7 out of 10 from all these graphics, but now that we have a bunch more gameplay, wow, that's incredibly freaking poorly lit. Oh, look at all that big empty space. Lots of empty planets. A lot of this gameplay I'm seeing here. I still think the shooting is better than I thought it was going to be after watching a bunch of these reviews. Another 7 out of 10 here. I still think the faces look so freaking terrible. Everybody just looks like a weird, emotionless puppet. So weird, like, hello, it is I, a Bethesda character. Okay, but I wanted to actually take a look at some of the reviews specifically and find out what is it that they actually didn't like. Now, this is the Starfield review from IGN. They gave it a 7 out of 10, and they said the game has disjointed space travel, non-existent maps, aggravated inventory management, and a slow rollout of essential abilities that very nearly did Starfield in. It sounds like the game very early on is practically unplayable. It was the joys of piloting a custom spaceship into and out of all sorts of situations in a rich sci-fi universe that eventually pulled it out of a nosedive. God, that is incredibly freaking harsh. I'm glad that I powered through these early hours because just like Skyrim and Fallout 4 before it, there is still an immense amount of power to discover. That pull to seek it out is strong. Starfield's interstellar mystery eventually pays off once the ball got rolling. Combat on foot and in space gradually became good enough after I'd finished the story around 60 hours in. You have to beat the game first before it gets fun? That's weird. So let's look at that breakdown real quick. 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. PC Gamer, 75. PC Mag, 7 out of 10. Down here, Digital Trends, 7 out of 10. It did get 2 perfect scores here from some website called Gaming Bible, which I'll be honest, I've never heard of. No offense to them. Games Radar also gave it a 10 out of 10. Oh yeah, here, VGC also gave it a 10 out of 10. So for a lot of the low scores, there is a couple high digits in there. You can see Forbes definitely really enjoyed it there. Windows Central, which I'm not saying they're biased, but obviously they're an Xbox and a PC gaming website that does a lot of Xbox content. Very Microsoft focused, but I think a lot of people were predicting this would get 9s and 10s because there is just so much pressure piled on this. It is actually... I still stand by the fact that people got incredibly aggravated when I said this. This game needs to be a hit. Xbox sales are in the toilet. Again, this isn't an assumption. That's raw numbers. I'm not saying that sucks. You can get butthurt if you want. Xbox sales are in the toilet. Even Xbox Game Pass subscriptions have stagnated significantly. They need a big game that's going to get people involved. I'm going to review Starfield. I've actually already got the Super Ultimate Edition pre-ordered and installed on my Xbox Series X because I'm going to play that at glorious 30 frames a second. But let's take a look at a positive review here. This is by RPG site The pros: incredible scope, great new modes like shipbuilding and combat, and breezy, compelling life sim vibe. Oh no, I don't like life sims. Sometimes they work well though, so I'm going in with an open mind. Occasional open world jankiness, segmented design, and a handful of mechanics feel undercooked. This is one of the things that there was some leaks about that made people very mad. The game is, even when it looks big and open, you're still landing in particular maps. Even if you land on a big empty ice moon or something like that, you are going to bump into invisible walls pretty frequently. Starfield slowly unfurls from the familiar into something wider, wilder, and more ambitious than I expected, even while in some areas it's quite happy to gently iterate on its predecessors. Our result is Bethesda Game Studios' best game yet. So they're essentially saying it's better than Skyrim. Man, Starfield continuously just makes bigger and more ambitious scale and scope. That sounds pretty dang positive. I'm excited to check it out. Starfield is indeed Bethesda's most polished game to date. Only can imagine what this game would have been like if it had launched in November 2022. Oh yeah, it's a good thing this game got a 10-month delay. That certainly helped. With that said, it still had a decent amount of bugs, some more egregious than others, though this was rather horrifying to look at. Oh yeah, the classic no face. Oh, nice. Just your headless crewmate. That's pretty cool. That face. This game is definitely, I mean, it's a Bethesda game. Bethesda games always launch glitchy. It's just how it goes. I'm not even offended. At times, Starfield feels dated, and it has the usual Bethesda jankiness, but the game is mostly enjoyable blast across the universe, fueled by great world building, improved RPG mechanics, fun side quests, that gets my attention, and exciting ship combat. It's interesting that so many people are talking about how good the combat is. I think of everything in this that I'm the most curious to sink my teeth into, it is that combat. It is, I want to actually see what it's like to fight, what it's like to win, what it's like to jump to warp speed and try and dodge a bunch of pirates. That sounds really good. Gene Park said this: Starfield is a triumphant return to form for Bethesda, easily the studio's best main quest ever. Now, that's pretty strong words. I know a lot of people specifically harp on the main story of Skyrim and Oblivion. I really like all the Elder Scrolls main quests. And of course, everybody loves the main quest of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. But it's cool to me that this is somehow a step above that. Something is lost in the sheer scale, but it makes the right sacrifices in its commitment to player agency. It has diverse quest lines. Many don't involve shooting. Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. It only gets better the more I played. In fact, I fell in love after the credits rolled. The entire the entire structure began to make sense, and I'm only more excited to stay and keep exploring its universe. That's so interesting. Multiple people talk about how the game gets better after you beat it. This obviously, Mr. Matty is a very dedicated Xbox YouTuber. He got famous originally talking about Bethesda games, so he's going to be very into it. I'm not saying he's biased, but he's definitely a Bethesda content creator. And he said, after 70 hours with Starfield, I feel like I've only just scratched the surface. It's not perfect, but with a vast galaxy to explore, chock full of Bethesda's best quest work, Starfield overcomes many of its issues. This sounds great. I got to give credit to Maddie. When Maddie criticizes stuff, I listen to him because I feel like criticizing from a place of love is more important. Like when he says, hey, fix this, hey, this sucks, he is saying it because he wants Starfield 2 or Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6 to be better games. His critiques come from a place to say, hey, let's raise the bar together. That's so freaking cool. Now, the last tweet I wanted to look at here is Jeff Grubb saying, the more I play of Starfield, the more I love it. It starts off as, this is just Fallout 4 in space. And the deeper you go on quests, the better it gets. That doesn't mean it takes a long time to get good, but it has a strong sense of familiarity at the start. Honestly, I'm super curious to dig into this game. I am going to be doing a review of the game itself. Hopefully these faces look a little bit better. I have decided I'm going to actually review it on Xbox Series X. Because even though it is hard locked at 30 frames a second, I think I'm more curious about the console experience of this. I've got a supercomputer. I could easily play this on my supercomputer, but I'm curious Because I'll be honest, my Xbox is completely covered in dust. I play everything on PC now. I'm going to actually have an excuse to turn my Xbox on, at least for once. But what do you guys think about Starfield? Are you still excited for it? Do you have it pre-ordered? Are you getting the Epic Constellation Edition, which is what I have pre-ordered right now, so I can play it today? In fact, I'm going to be playing it here in just 5 hours, which feels crazy to think about. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Please subscribe, because I am going to be reviewing the game. I want to do an impressions video talking about it, and then maybe a bigger, deeper video on Monday. I've got like a bunch of funeral stuff to deal with this weekend, kind of. So probably, maybe my Starfield review might be kind of late. We'll find out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to keep dreaming. Oh man, okay, it's time. Also, here's a little yellow elephant. That's called Ella. Ella the elephant. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.